What is up? What is good? I just wanted to do a little update for May 15th. Got actually quite a bit of work today. And I know James is going to cover this on the YouTube channel, but we were able to knock out quite a bit of work. Not only were we able to get or bring in a world, the cube, spinning cube world, we were able to bring in, so we were in the cathedral world, we were able to type in the URL for the spin/cube.kendrick, bring that world in. We could see it in that black void. That was one of the issues we had before. So we could see the till floor and we could see a cube. Now the cube wasn't working at first, and I'm going to talk about how we adjusted my agents that I'm working with today. But the cube wasn't working at first, but then the agent realized that it was an issue with one of the tags that we gave the cube. So how we set these worlds up is if you want to animate something or you want something to respond within the sandbox, you have to give it a certain tag. This was the rotation tag. So we fixed the rotation tag, and then the floor stayed till solid and the cube just started spinning. So what we created, it's so beautiful. We had a world built out. It wasn't even built out in Blender or Unreal. It was built out in a terminal, like just simple terminal programming to build this world. It worked. We had a flat world, a cube that rotated. So we were able to debug that. I was so happy with just saying that. The second thing we did today was, okay, let's take it a step further. So yesterday I purchased, it was $30, a city block. Just a straight city block, buildings on each side, road, sidewalks, benches, trees, whole thing. We built that, we set that up in Blender. Initially, when we tried to upload it into the world publishing tool, it was too big. So it measured too big. The limit is 500,000 polygons. This thing was like 2 million polygons, so we had to trim it. First, we got it to about 370,000, but it didn't have the sidewalk or the road attached, so we had to allow that to be added, and it kind of broke some of the models and some of the created some artifacts in certain places, so we had to rework it again. But eventually we were able to get it to where we saw a sidewalk and we saw a road, and it's like right at the cusp. It's like 499,000 polygons, so it's like right there, and it worked. And it looks beautiful, like you're in a black void, but you can see the city. And so it's like, okay, so the test was, can we travel to that world? So you go into the cathedral, you go to the spin cube world first, make sure it's spinning, make sure everything's working. Then you go to the URL, type in the new URL, which is the city.kendrick, because I created the world. And then it drops you off in the city. So now we can transition to 3 different worlds, and one was built in Blender, one's built in Unreal, one was built from a terminal. Perfect. This is the core of what Kosmos was supposed to do. There's other aspects of it, the avatar system, the AI that we want to put into it, the world registry works, the world publishing tool works, so we're getting there. But the last thing was that there's no lights. So you go into these other worlds, and once you go, it's just black void. There's no skylight, skybox, there's no directional light. So my question was, we need a skybox. We need directional light so that these scenes can have life. It's just not you floating in a black void. And so the agents at this point, we've been trying this for 2-3 weeks and couldn't get these skybox to work. And the agent was able to get it so that the skybox and the directional light worked when you went to a new world. So this is massive amount of progress for Kosmos for the last 2 days. And I attribute this to a new setup we have for Kosmos, which is yesterday in my frustration, I had a research agent and I just had a normal agent. And they were getting a lot of work done because the research agent was pushing information over to the developer agent, so it was working. So today I said, hey, I want to do a new setup where I have 5 different agents. I have a manager, engineer manager, or a manager for the engineers. I have a engine engineer, which is specifically, it works with the engines, whether that's Blender, Unreal. I have a platform engineer. I have a staff engineer. And then I have a SDET, which is basically the tester or the Q&A or QA. And so we had those 5 agents. Well, this morning when I started, it was a train wreck because what I was getting was I had James open Claude and I had different windows open. So I had 4 different windows trying to manage 5 agents, and it was just taking too long. I couldn't see when some agents were done. I had to copy some agents' responses, give it to the manager, get the manager's response, paste it back, and it was taking me 10 minutes to do one simple thing. And so I had a conversation with the manager. I just said, hey, this is taking too long. This isn't effective. So how about we create a Slack channel, we can @ the specific manager, and then we can all communicate there, or create some type of, use the terminal and create some type of communication, line of communication where we can all talk to each other. And it told me it was a bad idea, which I appreciate, thank you. And it said, we have 2 options here. We can use agent teams, which Claude was a product of Claude, which I was confusing for managed agents project. Or we could just create an MD file where the agents constantly talk to each other on the MD file, eliminate the last message, and then put the new message and @ who they're responding to, and they can communicate that way. And so I told it, let's go with the managed teams, but I clarified, is managed teams or agent teams, is agent teams the managed agent thing? Is it the same thing? So it asked me to clarify. I gave it the link and it said, no, it's not the same thing. So we went ahead and just set up the managed team, the agent teams. After I got more clarification, I had a couple questions for it before we started, but once I got more clarification, we set that up and it ran beautifully. They were doing work behind the scenes that didn't require me. The questions went up to the manager. The manager just answered it directly. I didn't even see it, but the manager would then let me know what was going on in the back end. And so the only time that I really needed to get involved was when I had to do demos on the headset itself. So it saved so much time, and the manager even told me, the manager agent even told me, hey, like, we're gonna knock out this work. It's gonna take about 20 minutes. You can step away from the computer, come back, And it was, it was so efficient. I was not tired at all. I was able to keep going all day long. And because of that, we gave the right tasks to the right agents. Fed it the right information, and we were knocking bugs out so quick. Like, I was struggling last week. I was struggling Monday and Tuesday this week to try to get some of these bugs fixed. And the system we had yesterday, the system we had today was so much better. We just knocked out so much stuff, and I'm so happy today to say we're probably like 85% or 90% where we need to be to release an alpha for Kosmos. Like, the underlying technology works, and that's such an important milestone for me, because as you guys know from my earlier videos, like, I am against the clock. Like, I have anxiety because, I don't really have anxiety, but like, the anxiety might be there because it's just like, we have to do this as quickly as we can. We have a certain amount of runway window that we can operate on financially. So we've got to knock this stuff out. And for 3 weeks, I was struggling to get some of this stuff built out. So it looks like we're finally hitting our stride. I pushed to the side other projects. So Drop has been pushed to the side. Alpha for Drop is done. Like, it just needs UI and UX work. But like, right now, main focus is Kosmos. The Founder OS that I was building for my desktop and my mobile phone and my laptop, I can't even continue to work on it because it can't update without Perplexity. So I've pushed that back to June anyway. So my main focus is Kosmos. Because we fixed so many of the issues, tomorrow I'm going to see what it recommends, but we definitely need to get the avatar working again. Don't need to customize it, just get a avatar working. I don't know who that is. We need to get it to be able to walk, jump, the wrist menu. We need to make sure that's working properly. else. There's other things we have to do just to make sure that everything's working properly. Like for example, I can't walk right now and use the wrist menu. I have to use the wrist menu, travel to different worlds. But the moment I start walking, wrist menu like disables and I can't operate it anymore. So that's something we have to fix for me. And I think one thing I am going to record, I'm going to have my friend come over and he's going to demo the alpha, what I have so far, Tuesday. So I'm going to record that, his reaction. And so you guys will be able to see that. But yeah, we're just going to keep all next week just Cosmos.